What is up, ladies and gentlemen? CJ the Cheese DJ here, and we are back with another A to Z of Ark for you guys today. And today, guys, we're taking a look at none other than the Gacha. Speaking of, thank you very much for the crystal, good sir. I appreciate that. So, guys, the Gacha is here in front of us. What has he given us? 44 raw salt. Today, we're going over what he does, how you tame him, and all the good stuff involved with him. So, guys, first off, you find these guys only on extinction in the Sunken Forest biome, which you can generally find them pretty much scattered all around this area. They're not very hard to find. They are pretty noticeable because of their huge crystal formations on their back. Once you've found them, all you need to do to simply tame them is to go up to them and drop literally whatever the hell you want. They will eat anything except for poo. The best thing to use are snow owl pellets. Now, generally, once you get it eating the first one, it will stand there and eat the rest. So if you do manage to get it to eat one, you can drop the rest and you'll pretty much be guaranteed to tame it up. Just make sure that they don't decompose. But you can see here, our big boy is eating them right up. We're actually going to need to spawn some more in here. Now, if you don't have access to snow owl pellets, you can lose stone, metal, structures, a whole heap of different stuff. Blueprints even will allow you to tame him up. And all of these will influence his taming bar as well as his taming effectiveness. Obviously, the higher the stacks of the things that you use, the quicker he will tame up and the less effectiveness he will lose. So, for example, you just saw us drop 20 of the fence foundations. Let's grab another stack of them. We've got 60 of them all together now. Honestly, this should send it straight up if he eats it. You can see he's losing about 1.1 taming effectiveness per bite of the snow owl pellets. And just like that, off of 40 metal fence foundations, he's actually tamed. Now, like I said, you can use raw metal, you can use stone as well. Any of those will work. As long as you've got a fat stack of them, drop them in front of your big Gacha boy and he will tame up. Now, once tamed up, these guys will be able to produce certain resources for you. You can see here, we didn't get too lucky with this one. We've got flint, fragmented green gems, raw salt, silica pearls, oil, obsidian, and we can decide between any of these. Now, the Gacha's loot table, I've separated into three different things. So you've got 3 common resources, 2 uncommon resources, and then the final one is a rare or a very rare resource. So out of the common pool, you can get fiber, flint, fragmented green gems, fungal wood, raw salt, sand, stone, and thatch. So your very basic resources will generally be found in these first 3 slots. As for your uncommon slots, you can get blue crystallized sap, clay, congealed gas balls, crystal, oil, silica pearls, and silk. So obviously that's different map resources as well, so these guys are really good for that. As for the rare and very rare, you've got black pearls, metal, obsidian, organic polymer, red crystallized sap, sulfur, and the very rare being element dust. If you manage to get your hands on an element dust Gacha, hold on to that dude for life, because he will literally provide you with everything you will need for a very, very long time, because you can just farm them up for element dust and you'll be able to clone them, and then you can just have an army of Gachas that will produce a bunch of element for you. So that is definitely very good, and I heavily recommend doing that if you have access to it. Now, with the Gachas, you need to make sure that if you do tame up multiples, that you have them separated by at least 12 foundations. So you can currently see here, we've got this Gacha by himself. He's looking at us. He's all happy. Hey, mate, you want to look at us? Look at us for the damn camera, fool. Okay, he's not looking at us. If we were to spawn in another Gacha, which is what we're going to do right now, let's just go like this, and we're going to spawn in another Gacha. And if it's not a female, then we're going to be in some trouble here. You'll see that our Gacha will be very unhappy. Luckily, no, not luckily, it isn't a female. So you can see here, if we come over to him, he's sad. His ears are folded in. He won't look at us. Look how terrible and sad he looks, like a lost puppy. And the lights above his crystals aren't glowing like they normally would. The same goes for this male. So what you need to do when you get Gachas is you need to make sure that you've got a mate pair. Otherwise, your Gachas will be sad and they won't produce resources, and you don't want that. You definitely want them to be producing resources and Gacha crystals for you all the time. So let's try our luck here and see if we can get a female to spawn in. There we go. So we've got a female Gacha now. They are going to be nice and happy together as soon as we come around here. Hey, mate, you happy now? Be happy for me, buddy. So if you can see here, let's just get the bodies away, maybe because they're too close to the bodies. If you do have multiple Gachas together, you will need them about 12 foundations apart from each other, because that's the range it takes for your Gachas to become happy when there's other Gachas in the area. Otherwise, you're going to have a trouble keeping them happy, and they're not going to be producing crystals. You can see now these guys are happy as anything. Their ears are all nice and relaxed. They've got smiles on their face. If you do move your female away, you will need to introduce another female. Otherwise, your male will be depressed and not produce crystal, and vice versa. So let's take a look at the female. Did she get anything good? Not really. But you can breed these guys. Now, once you breed these guys, the baby doesn't actually pool resources from the pool like the parents do. So, for example, the baby could have a mixture of any of the resources that the parents have, as well as none of the resources. You could get lucky and you could get element dust. The baby's resources don't match up with the parents in any way. So you've got that possibility. Now, the gachas do have a saddle as well. You can see here it's learned at level 38, relatively easy to make, 150 chitin keratin, 185 fiber, and 350 hide. If we come in here and we go gacha saddle, it's a little basket that wraps around the neck, which is hella cute. Oh, they're under attack from a raptor. Can you not? Like, honestly? There we go. So these guys are going to be all chill and stuff. We'll put the saddle on them, and you can see that it's a little basket. So we got a little basket saddle, which is nice. You just kind of sit in the basket hidden. So yeah, they're the gachas. Now, like I said, the babies don't pull from them, and occasionally, if you feed it snow owl pellets, you will get these primitive gacha crystals. Now, this is a whole shabozzle of information here. So first off, one of the best items that you can give to the gachas alongside the snow owl pellets are stone and metal. These are probably some of the best items you can give the gachas to produce their gacha crystals. If you don't have access to stone or metal, you can also use seeds. Now, berry seeds are a really good one as well. I personally enjoy using berry seeds because I just find them really good and really effective. But obviously, if you can't harvest them up at an effective rate, like you don't have an iguanid or anything like that, you can go for metal and stone, and that will cause them to produce more crystals. So, for example, we're just going to spawn in a bunch of metal, and we're going to whack it in the gacha's inventory. Now, alongside the metal and stone, gachas actually reduce the weight of these by 50%. So metal, stone, wood, and fungal wood are all reduced by 50% for gachas. So it makes them walking around and you storing resources in them pretty good. Now, another cool thing about gachas is that you can actually level up their crafting skill. This in turn will enable you to get higher tiered resources. For example, you saw us crack open that gacha crystal and actually got a pair of ramshackle flak gauntlets. So there is a huge loot table of gacha crystals that you can actually get. The table is just absolutely massive. There's a huge loot table and you can get literally a ton of items. When gachas were first released, they were broken as heck and you could get so much good stuff from them. Nowadays, they're not as broken, which is sort of a good thing because they were really OP for PvP. But with the snow owl pellets, these will boost the quality and the amount of resources you can get from the gacha's crystal. And how you can tell they've eaten a snow owl pellet is they'll get these glowing lights on their back. That means that they've got a snow owl pellet active. Now, they can only have one snow owl pellet active, so do be aware of that. Now, another aspect of this is that you can essentially have these guys on wander around your base, and they will pick up everything that they find. Now, do note that means everything, and they can possibly eat everything as well. Cryopods, weapons, fabrics, armors, all that sort of stuff, blueprints. If you accidentally drop something in your gachas nearby, say goodbye to it because more than likely they'll eat it. The only thing they won't eat is poo, aside from the snow owl pellets. But you can have these guys wandering around your base and they can clean it up from like acatinas, from dino poo. You can use them to collect the poo for your dung beetles and to store it in your dung beetles. So I'd heavily recommend getting a couple of these guys because of the resources they produce. They're just crazy good. You can get resources from other maps that save you a lot of time having to actually visit them. Plus, you have the chance to get really good loot from them. I've gotten cliff platforms from them before, metal cliff platforms and behemoth gates and stuff like that from them. So it's definitely worth getting into. And yeah, definitely breed up a bunch of gachas. And you can actually pair your snow owls to have your snow owls sit in front of your gachas so that they vomit up their snow owl pellets. Your gachas pick them up, they eat them, and they keep producing the good crystals for you. But guys, that's pretty much it for today's video. Gachas are really easy tame to get. We've gone over how to tame them. You can, if you feed them higher quality stuff, like I said, the metal fence foundations and stuff like that, in theory, they should produce better quality. No, don't eat that. Oh, too late. They should produce better quality items. So we're going to just drop all this stuff here that we got from the Forest Titan. They'll whack it in their inventory and eventually they will eat it. You can see here it's all in their inventory. they'll slowly eat it out of that, and they'll slowly produce crystals for us. But yeah, this is definitely one of the best ways to go about getting resources from other maps. Now, one thing about the babies is that their imprinting does not scale with their crafting skill. So if you imprint on them, their crafting skill won't go up. So do be aware of that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the gachas, guys. We've pretty much covered everything. Another aspect as well, before we wrap it up actually, is when you get the babies, their food goes down faster than berries can feed them. So when you're raising babies, make sure that you feed them raw meat. Otherwise, their food bar could go down and they could starve to death. So make sure you use raw meat to feed them. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to have a bit of a pickle when it comes to that, because they could potentially die. And you can see that we just got 120 raw salt off that one. Going to drop it because we don't need salt for anything. But let's crack open this one and see what we get. 120 fungal wood. So you can see there it's doubled. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for the gachas today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe down below for more. But other than that, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.